When I first started writing, I had all these ideas, but I couldn't actually get myself to write them down. I knew all these stories I wanted to tell, and I would get ideas all the time, but actually filling in the blanks and using my writer's voice was scary. But I wanted to be a professional writer, which meant that I needed to get to the actual, writing part. I realized that I could never be a better writer than the one I was so afraid I was then if I didn't start writing and getting better. So today I want to talk about why first drafts can be so difficult and how you can kind of push past that fear. I'm able to just push through first drafts and keep moving when in the past I would continuously stop halfway through first drafts and start over and start over and start over. I think the first step here is to really understand why you're struggling with writing first drafts. There are many reasons that a first draft might feel intimidating or you might have trouble just getting started. It's okay to feel that. Give yourself permission. I found that moving from outlining and planning and writing down ideas to actually writing out those ideas felt like a big confrontation with my writing level and where I felt I was lacking and my own writer's voice that was still developing. So it was much safer to just get the ideas written down and not deal with the part that was really much more personal to my writing. I also found myself, I was saying this earlier, I would get so caught up in what I didn't like in a draft that I wouldn't be able to continue. I'd get halfway through a draft, not like something, and have to start over. And that left me perpetually writing first drafts, which is no fun, so it felt like it was never ending. Once I got to the point where I could just push through a first draft, it didn't matter if I didn't like things, I just had to get it down on the page. It made it so much easier to go back and make edits and adjust and rewrite, but still have that full first draft and move on from there. I've also found myself feeling like, well, the story's not ready yet. I'm not ready to get to the actual writing because I don't know enough. And sometimes part of it is that through the drafts, through writing it and actually working through the characters in the story, that's when you learn more about it. That's how the story gets more ready. There's only so much planning you can do before you need to just put the pen to paper and get writing the actual story. And it's so easy to fall into comparison. We look at other people's writings, not just professionals, but our peers and the writers that we know and care about. We look at their writing, we say, but that's so much better than what I can do. The point isn't to be another writer. The point is to be you as a writer. There is an audience that is looking for your writing, so don't worry about what other people are doing. See where you can find inspiration and you can look at other people's writing to motivate you, but your writing is your writing, nobody else's. Believe it or not, there's something really valuable about first drafts. Not just the fact that, it's getting started and you're starting on the actual story, but there's a value specific to having a first draft written and done. And spoiler alert, they're supposed to suck. They're supposed to be kind of garbage, and it's not about writing the perfect story yet. It took me a long time to learn that one, and I wish I had gotten it and had it click sooner because it would have saved me so much time and so much heartache. What I've learned is that it's a lot easier to find, and not just find, but resolve problems that I would see in my scripts or my stories once it was all written out. And as you actually do the writing, you'll start to see what feels natural to actually write. You can have all these ideas that seem like great ideas, but when you go to actually do the writing to write out the story, it doesn't quite feel right. And that's how you work out the story. Writing it will also make you ask important questions about the world, the characters, the story, all sorts of things that it takes just being in the world to even think to ask. Now, how do you push past the fear? Like I said, first drafts are supposed to be pretty bad. They're not supposed to be the end result. Take the pressure off of writing this amazing thing when you're doing a first draft. You're just getting the story organized. You're not really writing the thing you're writing yet. One thing that really helped me was to remember that to become a great writer, I had to be a bad one first. So when I started to see things in my writing that I didn't like, started to recognize why something wasn't working in my writing, it actually started to make me excited because I could realize this is where I can go next. This is how I'm going to keep growing. This is how I'm going to get better. Feel that journey, go along that journey and enjoy it. It's okay to feel scared or nervous or intimidated by getting started. Starting is often the hardest part of all, but just allow yourself to feel that and then do it anyway. Draft 1 is just the first step of the writing process. If you want to see how I go about the writing process, what I work through, how I get from outlining to first draft to final draft, go ahead and watch this video next because I broke down exactly how I do it and what that whole process looks like for me personally as a writer.